Najasat, we said najasat is the plural of najas. And when we talk about najas here, we are talking about عين النجاسة. Not المتنجس, عين النجاسة. يعني the najasa itself. Okay? Which Islam ritually considered impure. Najas means something ritually impure. And here we talk about أعيان النجاسة. يعني the najas, Islam consider them najas. Okay? It's not like your hand becomes najas, you make it tahir. No, we're not talking about this now. We're talking about the sources of najasa, the sources of impurity. Why do I care about that? Inshallah, this will be discussed later on. We care about najas because you are not allowed to do tawaf or to pray if you have najasa on your body or your clothes. But let's say during the day your clothes become, najas. Okay, it's najas. But when you want to pray, what do? Wash the place of najasa or change it. Okay, clear? Also, we are not allowed to make the masjid najas. This is also something important. What are those najasat? Islam considers everything as tahir except limited numbers. We consider them ritually impure. Limited. And we had big argument whether that something engraved we are not allowed to change or no. It might change based on circumstances. The famous opinion and the major opinion, no, those najas things are fixed. Okay? They do not get changed because of time, factors, ideas. Wallah, I gave my dog a shot, it's going to be tahir again or not, or najas, or stay najas, or it's going to be tahir in general. With, the major opinion among Shia, that those are najas, okay, and you cannot tell me, no, they are not najas because different factors are there. Unless, in limited time, they become tahir, as we are going to see when we talk about mutahirat. We have intiqal, we have istihala, that's a different story. But by themselves, they are considered what? Najas. If they change their properties, identity, that's a different story. We're not talking about that. As is, they are najas. Few scholars, they say no. As is, they might be najas, they might not be najas. And we talk about, is that amr ta'abbudi or not? This is not our topic now. But with the well-known scholars, those are the najasat. Some people, they say 10, some people more or less. That varies based on your marja. What are those najasat? We have two kinds. We have the physical najasa we are talking here. Physical impurities are, first of all, urine and stool. Urine and stool, as we discussed before, are considered najas if they are from human beings. Or they are what? From the animals of haram meat. It's considered what? Najas. Yani from a cat, a dog, a pig, a lion, elephants, those are haram to eat based on the famous opinion. It's another topic, we'll discuss it later on. What's haram, what's not. So the stool and urine of animals that are haram to eat is considered what? Najas. And of a human, definitely najas. Okay? Now, what are the animals are haram to eat? Well, they are a lot. Okay? They are a lot. What's halal, based on the famous opinion, is limited, as we are going to see later on. Like cows, goats, sheep, bird. Okay, those are halal. What if the animal does not have really a portion of meat to consider? You cannot say it literally has meat. Like what? Like a snake. A snake, you cannot compare the meat of the snake like the meat of elephant. It's just tiny thing. Or insects, like mosquitoes, okay? Or certain small reptiles, spiders, just name it. What about those? So the famous opinion among our scholars, they say any animal that if you slaughter it, it has veins, main veins that gush out blood forcefully, its blood is najas, okay? Its semen is najas, its stool is najas, its urine is najas. Those like what? Not insects. So you tell me, what about mosquito or fish? Those we consider them what? If there is something related to them, we consider their discharges what? Not najas. Fly, mosquito, let's say, you tell me, yeah, but it has my blood. We consider that tahir because something else, we call it intiqal. It transfers from one body to another. We'll discuss it later on. So urine, stool is considered najas of those specific animals. Urine and stool. I'm not talking about the blood and semen. Only urine and the stool is considered najas of a human and of animals that we are not allowed to eat. Done. So let's say a cow. Cow, we get from cows fertilizers, isn't it? What do you call those? That manure is what considered tahir, because it's from halal to consume meat. Same thing when it comes to, let's say, camels, sheep, goats. Okay? Why? The scholars, they will tell you the wisdom behind it, because you need these animals to be around you. If I say they are najas, your life will be complicated. You tell me, yeah, but I feel it's not clean. That's a different story. Sometimes, you tell me, what about rats or roaches? It's by nature, we consider them, hey, that's impure. Islam does not say those are not impure to make it less hardship on us. Because imagine if I say those are najas. Man, everyone will start washing his house left and right, or restaurants, or, it would create a problem. Islam gave you the minimum applicable things. And that's why you see few scholars, they say, can we make this list of najas bigger? They come from that point. Okay? Nowadays, as I said in my previous lesson, if I, that manure, if I bring it to my living room, you consider it tahir or najas? I mean, not ritually. You consider it clean? So, but back then, they used to live in farms, and that's normal to them. So that's why that small group, they have this opinion. But the famous opinion, as we discussed. So, urine stool from a human is najas. From animals that it's haram to eat, it is considered what? Najas. Discharges, urine stool of animals that we are haram to eat, we consider haram to consume, is najas, as well as a human. Any question about this? So, animals that is halal to eat is not considered najas. What about reptiles and insects? We said then we have to go with the concept of what? The idea. The method is, if the blood does not gush out forcefully when it's slaughtered, it's considered what? Their stools and urine is tahir. Okay, that's the famous opinion. Okay. Now, do we have a proof in Islam, like hadith, sahih as-sanad, that says stool is najas from animals that haram to consume? But the famous opinion, they say stool is very similar to urine, and the stool of a human is najas. Most likely the others would be najas. So one of their proofs would be what? Ijma'. But al-ijma' madraki, and in fiqh, you need more proofs. Now that's up to the faqih to decide, not to me or you. Okay? Yes.
How come then to tahir something that has urine on it is a different process than something that has stool on it?
The same process in general to some scholars.
Some scholars have what
Yeah, because they stick to certain, again, it's their methods of deriving ahkam. Okay.
like
Now, maybe later on we can bring their proofs and we can discuss it. Inshallah, like a homework. Dogs and pigs, by the major opinion of our scholars, even some Sunni resources, they consider dogs and pigs are najis. Some of them, they might question the purity or the najasa of dogs, Sunni people, Sunni scholars. Because Sunni, they have scholars, they are very strict, like al-Malikiyya, and some of them, they are very, relaxed. Okay? Or maybe I mix them, like Shafi'iyya. Okay, now anyway, so the dogs and pigs najas, whether it's a stool, urine, bones, hair, nails, if there is any, okay? I don't know, genetic mutation, blood, meat, everything associated with dogs and pigs considered in Islam what? Najas. And when we talk about dogs and pigs, we are talking about the dogs and pigs we find on the soil, not in the water. Because you might have, sea creatures, we might name them dogs or pigs. That has nothing to do with that. Okay? So this is done. Now, do we have some scholars, they put they have different opinions? Yes, we do. But the majority is with this opinion, that dogs and pigs are najis, no question about it. Some few, like Sayyid Murtada Alim al-Huda, as I remember, he considered the hair of the dog tahir. Sayyid Murtada Alim al-Huda, we are talking, he's the student of Sheikh al-Mufid. We're talking about like 1,000 years ago. Okay? He considers the hair of the dog is tahir. But you don't follow Sayyid Murtada Alim al-Huda. You follow Sayyid Sistani, maybe Sayyid Khu'i, so you stick to your scholars. Pigs, some people, they consider the meat of the pig najas, the hair najas. But when it comes to other parts, it's tahir. But this is very few, negligible opinion. But it is there. Now we go to this is how many najasa? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have blood, semen, dead body. That's 5, 6, 7. Blood, semen, dead body of a human is najis, according to the famous opinion. It's najis. Semen, blood, dead body is najis. Okay. Even now, for Sunni scholars, semen could be tahir. Okay. For Shia, the major opinion, famous one, it is najis. Blood, it's considered najis. Dead body, it's considered najis. Okay. That's of human. What about animals? They say of any animal that its blood gushes out, whether you consume the animal, yani that blood or semen or dead body is related to a cow or a lion, elephant, monkeys, anything that's considered an animal that if it were to be slaughtered, the blood will gush out forcefully from its vein, is considered what? Najis. Yani that will include most of the animals that we know. But what about insects, reptiles? That's a different story. You go apply this method. If a reptile, if it's slaughtered, their blood does not gush out forcefully from its vein, does not have that biological system, then it's considered what? Tahir. Like snake, okay, most of the snakes, fish, small lizard, okay, spiders, mosquitoes, all this considered what? The semen, the blood, their dead body is tahir. Yani hella, if there is a fly dead, if you touch it, yani it becomes najis. If it's what? No. Okay. But, a cow, if it's dead, it is what? Najis. This is according to the famous opinion. Do we have other opinions? Yes, we do. Definitely, we do. We have some, like for instance, a mouse, a dead mouse, is it tahir or najis? Najis. So, and that's why if you have, let's say, a jar of milk or oil, and a mouse is dead in it, that oil is what? Najis. You cannot make it tahir anymore. Do we have some scholars, they say it's tahir? Yes. But this is not famous opinion. Not famous opinion. Rahimakumullah. Another thing, let's say, dead body of a human being is najis, whether it's shaheed or not shaheed. Some scholars, they might say, no, shaheed is different story. Okay, we have different opinions. The blood of shaheed is najis. Some scholars, especially Sunni school of thought, they consider it's the blood of shaheed is what? Tahir. But the blood is blood. But also you have to follow your marja. Another thing, what about dead body? Portion of the dead body, not the whole body. So let's say a hand, of a human being had to be, cut off. Is that najis or tahir? They say it is najis. Do we have some scholars, they say it's not? Yes, we do. Okay. Questions? Okay. Do you allow me just to finish this quickly? The sweat of jallala animals. Al-ahwat wujuban, according to Sayyid Sistani, it's considered what? Najis. What is jallal? Al-hayawanat al-jallala. Al-jallala animals are those which persistently eat najis stool of a human being. Okay? Do we have other najasat? Yes, we have other najasat. It's not here. We have alcohol. We have al-kafir. Okay. So now, let's go back to Sayyid Sistani.
So you say al-kafir, like how?
That's what we are going to discuss in a second. So we have الجزء المقطوع من الحي بمنزلة الميتة. Do we have a proof? A few scholars, they say we don't have a proof that, if something cut off the body is najis. But, things go beyond this. So let's say you have a small, you remove a small skin, okay, from your body. Is that skin tahir or najis? Smaller skin. It's dried skin. Some few scholars, some scholars they might say, no, this is najis. Some people, they say, if you feel the pain and there is little bit like living tissues in it, it's najis. Some of them, they say, no, as long as it's little, it's not a big deal. يعني مثلا, because, you remove something from your lips, hand, they consider tahir. Here, Sayyid Sistani is saying that ما ينفصل من الأجزاء الصغيرة التي زالت عنها الحياة وتنفصل بسهولة كالثالول والبثور blah blah blah. Okay, it is what considered طاهر. Good. ده رئيس السيستم. أجزاء الميتة إذا كانت لا تحلها الحياة طاهرة. يعني شو؟ يعني let's say we talk about شو الخروف is dead, not slaughtered the way. نحن عندنا animal, we'll discuss it later on. We عندنا animal, we call it ميتة, ونفس الanimal type we call it مذكى. يعني there is a goat or a cow was slaughtered, slit based on Islamic laws. That cow najis or tahir? Tahir. Okay. So now the blood of that cow, when it's gushing out, tahir or najis? Najis. Because we go back to the formula, we said the blood of any animal that, we say gushes out is considered najas. But the blood that's left over after slaughtering the animal and after letting the blood gush out, okay, that blood remaining inside its organ considered what? Tahir, by many scholars. Yani liver, you might buy meat, has little bit of blood, you don't have to wash it. It's considered what? Tahir. Some scholars, they claim any blood is tahir, except a human. Any blood of animals is considered tahir. This is one of the opinions, but the major opinion is what we are saying, the blood that's left over in the body, in the organs of that animal is. If the animal was mita, no one slaughtered it, is it tahir or najas? So here goes back to dead body. What's a dead body? What's considered dead body? If an animal you slaughter it, we do not say mita. The dead body is a little bit confusing. In Islam, when we say in fiqh, when we say mita, that means an animal that was not what? Slaughtered according to the Islamic law. Yani a lion can be mita, najas, and a lion can be tahir, but you are not allowed to eat. Clear? Let me repeat this. So the cow, it's halal to consume. Okay? If you slaughter it the proper way, according to Islamic laws, that cow is tahir. It's halal to eat. Tahir, and it's halal to eat. Why? Because those are the animals that we are allowed to consume. If that cow was dead by itself, or by, roadkill, then that becomes najas and haram to eat. And Islam made it very clear in the Quran, this meat is haram to consume. You tell me, yeah, but Muslims, they consume cows. Yeah, but not this kind of meat. In other way, Islam want the society to be aware of health. Okay, it's like ISO, I don't know what they call it, ISO 22000. Okay, he put like codes, okay, for food. This is a road killed, you don't eat it. This blood, you do not cook it and eat it. Avoid anything that might create problems, because maybe the way you cook it is not enough back then. Okay? So that's why mita you're not allowed to eat. And it is considered what? Najas. Now, big question, are we allowed to consume najas? The famous opinion, no. The famous opinion, we are not allowed to consume najas food. Any najas food, we are not allowed to what? Consume. Okay? What about I'm sorry here. My point was mutanajjis. Yani, I have milk. Okay, milk, tahir. For whatever reason becomes najas. Am I allowed to drink it? No. The famous opinion, no. Wallah, هيدي الميت is tahir وحلال. But for whatever reason, it becomes najas. Okay? Yani I was cooking it, and a small drop of my blood reaches that meat. Can I eat that meat anymore? At least that portion. That, that spot. The famous opinion would say, no, you're not allowed. And that's why when you ask the scholars, am I allowed to use, let's say, wine on the food, and, keeping in mind it will evaporate, he will tell you what? No. Why? Because the food najas. هلا كمان haram to buy that wine or hold it or شغلة تاني. Okay? Do we have some scholars, they say it is okay to eat najas? Yeah, but it's not famous. It's very unknown among Muslims, Shia. Okay? Al-Mita, some scholars, they distinguish, a few opinion, few scholars, not that prevalent at all, they distinguish between Mita and killed and slaughtered animals. يعني some few scholars they say الميتة if something was attacked by animals, roadkill, killed by itself, died somehow, diseases, they consider this mita. To them, which is very few scholars, I said, al-mita is only that kind. But if a kafir, he hunted a lion, do I consider a cow? Do I consider it, or a deer, yeah. Do I consider it tahir or najis? They consider it tahir. Haram to consume because you did not say Bismillah. But is it najis? They say no. But this is very, very unknown opinion. But it is there in fiqh. The general rule, according to the famous, well-known opinion, al-mita is the animal that was not slaughtered according to Islamic laws. That we call it what? Mita. Maybe by itself it's halal to consume, but because you slaughter it the wrong way, becomes what? Haram and najis. And the famous opinion, again I say it, it is haram to consume, to drink or eat najis food or beverages. Clear? Now we go back to mita here. What about reptiles or small fish or insects? That we do not call them the najis mita. Why? Because their blood does not gush forcefully if they are asleep. Where's the problem? The problem, what about a cow who was not slaughtered according to Islam, and all of a sudden I'm using its skin for the leather of, let's say, furniture or whatever. Is that leather najis or tahir? We go back to the rule. We said dead bodies are najis, except the scholars, they say. Okay. Hala, najis, whether you are in details, yani. Najis, definitely if you are, that animal is what? Haram to consume. Okay, and it's the dead body. Yani mita. That mita is najis. Its part, you're going to say what? It is najis. Pigs, for sure, it is najis. Leather of the animal that I am, it was not slaughtered according to Islam, is najis or tahir? Najis. Okay? Najis. But we have parts in that dead body, they say, does not contain living tissues. Yani it is connected to living nerves and cells. But overall, the people look at it as dead things. Like what? Like the wool of an animal is, or hair, if it's not pig or dog related. So here we have some opinions. Let me go back. أجزاء الميتة التي إذا كانت لا تحلها الحياة طاهرة: الصوف، الشعر، الوبر، العظم، القرن، المنقار، الظفر، كذا كذا. أوكي. سواء كان ذلك كله مأخوذا من الحيوان الحلال أم الحرام، وسواء أخذ بجز أم ناتف. نعم، يجب غسل المنتوف من رطوبات الميتة. أوكي. هذا شو؟ هذا إذا كان طاهر العين. أما ميتة نجسة العين فلا يستثنى منها شيء. أوكي. يعني dead bodies هو نجس عين. تقول لي والله can I use the hair of a pig? That's نجس عين. I can't. نجس. You can use it, but it is نجس. Okay, it is نجس. أما الكاو إذا كانت مذبوحة على الطريقة الإسلامية, then the leather of it is considered what? طاهر. But if it is not, it's considered what? Okay.
So the color that's in skincare products of a
ولذلك أنت when you buy any leather made genuine leather stuff, if it's from animals like cows, goats, lions, whatever, hey, you know what? You have to see whether it is true, طاهر or not, يعني مزكى or not, ميتة or not. If it's ميتة, it's a problem. شو يعني ميتة? Was not slaughtered according. يعني الميتة, we do not just care about it for food purposes. Also, when it comes to parts like leather, if the cow is not slaughtered according to Islamic laws, the leather, it becomes najis. Now, I bought something in Europe, and there is a chance like 2%, 4%, okay, maybe the cow was slaughtered by Muslims, okay, the proper way. Do I consider it tahir or najis? Tahir. There is a chance. Chance, even if it's slim, but there is a chance. Mish 0.1%. No, you're talking about 3%. There is a chance. So, according to many scholars, like Sayyid al-Khou'i, Sayyid Sistani, they say what? You consider it what? Tahir. But the meat is what? The meat is najis, haram to consume. But the leather, because there is a chance might be tahir, what do I consider it? Tahir. Clear? Yes.
So if I have a leather wallet, and I don't know whether...
So let's say I have a leather wallet. The first question would be, is that leather genuine or not? If you tell me I do not know, you consider not genuine. So your concern is gone. Now you tell me, no, Sheikh, I called and they told me this is a genuine leather. So the second would be leather out of what? If it is a snake, tahir. Because the snake, small snakes we're talking, if they don't have this, blood gushing out forcefully, okay? Certain reptiles, the same thing. So if that's the case, it's considered tahir. Am I allowed to pray in a wallet made of, let's say, leather of skin and carry it in the salah? Some scholars, they say no. Because it is not halal to consume its meat. Even, let's say you have subha made out of from ivory of elephants. Some scholars, they say you're not allowed to carry it on the salah. Some others, they say it's not big deal. Okay? Even if it's not najis. Okay? This is a big subject. We'll discuss it during salah. Okay? Talk. Another thing, back to your question. Let's say the leather is genuine. But there is a chance it is tahir. Because, the community has non-Muslim and has Muslims. And those they slaughter animals and those they slaughter animals. So there is, let's say, 5% chance it is what? Tahir. Islam will say, not Islam. Fatawa will tell you some fatawa will tell you what? Consider it tahir. Okay? Now let's say I called and they told me, no, it is in reality genuine leather and it is najis. And I'm 100% najis. What do I consider that then? Najis.
So then all I have to do is either just do wudu and not keep it on me depending on who you follow?
Now for the salah, if something I question whether it is, if a certain leather I question whether it is tahir or not, okay? Some scholars, they say you're not allowed to pray with. But like Sayyid al-Khou'i, Sayyid Sistani, they say no, it is permissible. Because there is a chance it is tahir. I'm talking about leather. Let's say I touch it. Because they're saying it's considered tahir, then it is considered what? Tahir.
No, I'm saying, but if you follow what they say it's najis, then all you have to do is...
That's a different story. If it's proven it's najis, then it's najis. If you touch it and your hand is wet or the wallet is wet.
Oh, only if it's wet.
Yeah, if it's dry, you do not care. Dry, touching something dry, there is no transfer of najasa. Yes, let's say there is a dog, it's dry, I touch it. My hand is dry and the hair is dry. There is no najasa in this sense. It's not, my hand does not become najis, let's put it this way. Okay? Or a blood, there is a dry spot of a blood. It's dried. dried out. I touch that, my hand is not wet, and that's dried, the najasa does not transfer. And even maybe scientifically, you know, even the germs is not easy to transfer from one entity to another if it's both dry. You need like little bit of a humidity. And generally speaking, I'm not you know, into biology. I'm more into, you know, other stuff. Okay. Another thing comes here. What about if I'm cooking? Okay, I crack that egg to make omelette. I look at it. There is a spot of small blood in that egg. Here, some scholars, they say this is najas. Some scholars, they say, no, just remove that blood and you should be fine. Some scholars, they say, does not matter. And that you have to follow your, you know, scholar. I will let you know in a second. المراد من الميتة ما استند موته إلى موت الآخر غير التذكية على الوجه الصريح. We said that. Now, let's see if he has it here. Honey, they talk about the fetus if it is dead before reaching certain months. بنسميه قبل ولوج الروح. And some scholars, they say like 4 months. Some of them, they say 12 weeks. It varies now. Yeah. So that aborted baby, is it najis or tahir? Sayyid Sistani here, he considered what? Najis al ahwat wujuban. Some scholars, they say no, it's not najis. دم العلقة المستحيلة من نطفة نجس على الأحوط لزوما. أما الدم الذي يكون في البيضة فطاهر. Okay? So it's طاهر according to Sayyid Sistani.
Are we allowed to consume it?
It's طاهر.
But I've heard that we have to remove it.
Okay, you can. That's a different story. Yeah, I see your point. Your point. Yeah, you just remove it and that's طاهر. Okay. What else we have? We have alcohol. Okay, alcohol and al-kafir. Al-khamr, according to Sayyid Sistani, and according all the, well, not all, the famous opinion among Shia, alcohol, I'm talking about beverages, not industrial one that we'll discuss later on, like isopropyl. Alcohol is considered what? Najis. Famous opinion. Do we have other opinions? Yes, we do. Al-Khamr, we have several opinions. The first opinion consider everything is called Khamr is what? Najis. Some scholars, they say, no, Al-Khamr that is made out of like wine, made of what? Grapes. Yani wine is considered what? Najis, and beer. Other kind of khamr is considered what? Haram, but tahir. It's haram to sell, haram to buy, haram to drink, haram to consume, haram to gift it out, haram to help making it. But it is what? Tahir. Okay. Third opinion, it says no. Al-khamr is haram, as you are saying. All of the above, applies. It is haram, but it is what? Tahir. Haram to sell, haram to drink, but it is tahir. There is big difference between tahir and halal. If something tahir does not mean it's halal to consume. Like what? Like, wallah, this phone is tahir. Do you eat it? No. You're not allowed to hurt yourself. Okay? Or a battery, or acid. Okay? It's tahir. Are you allowed to drink it? You're not allowed to harm yourself. And if something could be najas, but what? Could be najas. But there is a possibility you can consume. Like what? Like, this water is najas. I add water to it, becomes what? My core. We are going to study this later on. Yani I put it, under the tap water, and at least here in this country, it becomes what? Tahir. Because it's core. It reaches, the core reaches certain, number of liters. Okay? Becomes tahir. Now, okay, I find a way. But the dam is najis. How am I going to make it tahir? It's the dam. It's najis. Dam of a human. So anything, if it is tahir, does not mean it's halal to consume. And if there is something haram to consume, does not mean it's najis. Let me repeat this. Tahir does not mean halal to consume. Haram to consume does not mean it is what? Najis. Example. Urine, okay, of, let's say, forget about urine because we talk about this. Tahir, if I tell you al-khamar is tahir, that does not mean it's halal to consume. Does not. Okay? Wallah, this lion is tahir. Is the lion tahir or najis? Lion, tigers, elephant, monkeys, mashallah, so many animals. The only najis animals are what? Pigs and dogs. The famous opinion. Especially pigs are najis, among, no question about it. Lion, elephant, monkeys, those are tahir. Are you allowed to consume? No. So even if you find certain scholars might say khamr is tahir, does not mean it is halal. It's not halal. Same token, if something is haram, does it mean it's najis? No. It is haram to eat, let's say, wild animals. Check. Does it mean becomes najis? No. Okay. So no, there is no correlation. Could be tahir wa haram to consume. Could be tahir wa halal to consume. Clear? Wallah, marijuana is tahir. شو يعني no, it's haram. Even if it's tahir, it is what? It's haram. So here Sayyid Sistani is saying, al-khamru, what's al-khamr? Al-khamr, they say, al-muradu bihi al-muskir al-muttakhad min al-asir al-inabi. Yani, it's fermented. How? Based on what? Based on grapes. وأما غيره من المسكر والكحول المائع بالأصالة ومنه الاسبيرتو بجميع أنواعه فمحكوم بالطهر. يعني if you have alcohol, wine, that wine is what? Haram and najis. If it is not wine, it is considered what? Haram but tahir. Unless it is what? If it's not wine, if it is beer is also najis. Because we call it al-fuqa. And fuqa according to some scholars. Al-fuqa khamrun istasgharahu an-nas, they say. Okay? So his definition of al-khamr that is najis, it is that one made of, based on grapes fermentation.
So beer is tahir?
No. Plus beer is najis. So you tell me I have vanilla, extract. Okay, if it does not contain beer or wine, it is considered what? Tahir. But guess what's the problem? Haram to consume unless you add a little bit of drops, it's fine. But to consume it like a drink, it's haram. يعني مثل واحد عملها intoxicated solution. But you add a little bit of drops of vanilla in your food or your drink, it's fine. Halal drink. Okay? Why? Because Sayyid Sistani is saying this is not wine and not beer. Clear? Some other scholars, like Sheikh al-Muqaddas al-Ardabili and others, they say any khamr is what? Tahir, but haram to consume. Now, Where is the advantage of this? The advantage of this, we have several here points. We're going to wrap it up before we finish. Al-khamr, if it is added to the food, okay? Would you please close it? Al-khamr, if it is added to, it's a couple drops of khamr added to the food. If it is wine, then the food becomes what? Najis. Why? Because wine is najis. Then the food becomes what? Najis. You tell me it evaporated. Still najis. Mutahhirat, cleaning agents, is not evaporation like the way you are saying it here. Some scholars, if they say al-khamr is najis, and not najis, it's tahir, if you add one drop, not you, I mean the cook, if he added, because he's not Muslim, let's say, he added one drop of alcohol in a big jar of food, and it got consumed, okay, and diluted by that food. To him, it's considered what? Still tahir. And this is not, you are not going to get drunk. Al-kafir, inshallah, that's what we are going to be talking about in our next meeting. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, please let me know.